Hi, Geek
Girls!
Hi, my name is Anna, and I'm a singer.
Hi, my name is Peyton, and I'm a dancer.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are reacting to a new group for the very first time. Very exciting.
Yes, so we are reacting to P1 Harmony today. They are a 6-member boy group from FNC Entertainment, and we are reacting to the 2 requests that we have for them, which are their debut, Siren, and then I believe a B-side that they did a special performance video for, Breakthrough. We really don't know much about them besides what I just said, although I have seen a lot of videos of their leader, Kiho, on my Instagram feed because he's English speaker, Gen Z, relatable.
I'm not Gen Z, not relatable.
But his humor is relatable apparently. I don't know, man. Alright.
I'm not Gen Z. You like their baby too.
Oh my gosh, wait, yeah. And
yeah, I was about to be like, what do you mean you don't?
Sorry. Their baby, their maknae, Jongsub. I watched K-pop Star and he's so cute. And now he's a teenager now. That's so strange.
He was on Treasure Box too, yeah, so I also know him.
So we know more than we usually do for a new group, actually.
Yes.
But that being said, let's go. Ah yes, a siren sound.
Surprise!
And helicopter. Oh no!
That was a really cool overlay, it looks through the glass. Oh.
Run!
That's so funny.
Oh.
So many turns! So many turns! More turns!
Just as you said that, I saw another one, yeah.
And footwork!
Oh. Interesting. It's just continuing with this theme. A baby. Sorry, he would probably hate that.
He's 10 years younger than I am. I feel like I can say it.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Jump. Ooh.
Cool. Yes, megaphone. Why are they so cool?
Right?
That's just what I've been thinking.
It's the Gen Z energy.
Oh, they're too cool for us.
So I said during the reaction, kind of quietly, so I don't even know if you heard it, but I was like, oh, that's funny. As I was listening to the song, it was making me go like this motion, and then it flipped to the dance. dance. And that was exactly what they were doing too. They were going like this. I was like, Anyways, okay, so let's talk about my favorite things. There are so many turns. I love turns. I love turning. It's also really interesting because when I was watching the dance practice, I could tell who their dancers were based on how their feet and like bodies were positioned while they were turning, like where their feet were on their leg. I was like, oh, that one, that's the dancer. I don't know his name yet because I didn't look it up, but he does the double turn right after we were both like, turns! And then we were like, more turns! And he did the double pirouette. And I will call it a pirouette because his leg is literally in like a pseudo passe. I really liked where a lot of the turns were though, because they were on like the weom, which sounds like the siren. And it kind of reminded me of like the Doppler effect when it's like, like that sort of thing. And you're like hearing it coming and going. That was the effect that every single turn in this dance gave me. And it was such nice placement. And there were so many turns. And it was really like a siren coming and going because the turns are throughout the entire dance. And they are used as like actual choreographic pieces, but they're also used as moments of transition into other moves. They'll step, turn, and then just go to the floor. They'll step, turn, and go into a jump or something. It's not just the actual turns. There's also other similar sort of movements. Like they'll do slides that bring them around. And so it's that same like, wee-oo. Or one of my favorite moments in the last chorus is when they do the arch back and they go like almost all the way around and then circle back really quickly. So it's like, shoo. And it's that sort of like feeling of coming and going, like listening to a siren gives you. I also really liked their hands on a lot of the turns because there's that one turn that they do where they say siren in the chorus, and they do, it's kind of like a figure skating turn actually, because they start out their leg extended and then they sweep their leg in and it makes them turn faster, their momentum picks up, and as they do it they also push their hand up. But also the way they were doing their hand, this sort of motion up is a way to show like light shining. So it was like they were like becoming the siren. I really liked that moment. I could honestly talk about the turns forever, so we're gonna move on. They also had a lot of really detailed footwork, especially in the choruses. And I thought it was really interesting because a lot of times when they would get to those moments, they would have no upper body choreography and their hands would be like in their pockets and their feet would be moving really quickly. But it felt so disconnected because they were in such control of their bodies that from the waist up, they weren't moving, like there was no like bouncing around or anything to get the footwork out. Their feet were just going like super duper quick and their bodies were like, yeah, this is easy. And that quality of dance is in the whole thing because they have so much swag and they look so cool. And even on like the heavier, bouncier movements, everything feels really light and really effortless. And then last thing, this dance is really detailed and the choreography is really interesting from start to finish. But the most interesting thing about it, I had to double check in the dance practice because I couldn't tell if I was just misreading it in the music video. None of the choruses are the same because usually in like a 3-chorus song, you'll have 2 choruses the same and 1 different. There's no repeated section in this choreography. They're similar movements, but it's different the entire time, which is so interesting. So yes, Anna's turn.
Hi, it's my turn. And I'm gonna start by saying, sorry I said like nothing about the song while we were watching the video, but I like high-key, I was just like vibing to it. But first generic comment, yeah, the song is pretty repetitive, like musically it's pretty repetitive, which isn't surprising because it's like debut and most debut songs are kind of like that. But I didn't get bored of it. There were like a lot of things to focus on, like the little details that you know I love. Peyton already kind of talked about it, but the really cool effect in the chorus when they're saying the words that sound like sirens, but it's like all different words. So one of them is like we yung, we hum, we are, and all of them, the way that they're saying it sounds more like the wee of a siren. Also, when you were saying that like paired with the dance, it sounds like it's like coming and going, I was like, oh, I was thinking that the turns were like the siren light when it's spinning. But then another thing that also was kind of like siren-y, alarmy was in the second half of a chorus when they just say the low siren. It's more like a different kind of alarm alert. Next thing that I wanted to talk about, during the first chorus, I was like, oh, they're continuing with this theme. That's interesting. Because usually in songs they have like the first chorus and then they have like the second part where like it gets higher intensity or lower intensity before the second verse starts. The most common way to change it up is they'll add an extra percussive layer or they'll take one out. But then for this song, they didn't change anything besides like changing what they were like singing as the main melody. which I thought was really interesting. But now thinking about it, I'm like, oh, well, it fits the vibe of the song pretty well. It's not exactly an anthem, but it's sort of like that whole group chant vibe, because the song has a lot of those like group chant moments. Just like even in the chorus, it feels like a group chant. They have a lot of like the hoo, ho moments throughout the song interspersed. But then the last thing that I wanted to say was, I really like the chorus. They have way more background harmonies than, okay, just vocals. Wow. The fact that I could like see that showcased in a song that doesn't really focus on the vocals that much. Like there's not a lot of moments where they get to be highlighted, but when they are highlighted, it comes through a lot, like the harmonies in the chorus that are happening, which I really liked because obviously they're just harmonizing the melody that's being sung, but also instrumentally, there's this more like horn-esque synth line that's been playing, and it goes in and out of playing its own line and then also doubling the melody, which I think is really cool. It's a really cool effect. One could argue that it's like the going in and out of the siren again. Who knows? Alright, that's all I have to say.
Next.
Okay, so now we're watching their song Breakthrough. Apparently there's a Korean title called Toe. And the video says that it's a mix harmony. Is that like their special video things? I don't know, but it's a performance video, so let's go.
Yeah, I think it's a collaboration with someone actually.
Oh. Claps.
Oh yes, it's a dance video.
Okay. I like how they're leaning more into rock. Sorry, I just looked over at your face for a second. It was just like content mom smile.
Look at glamour shots this time around.
Yeah, instead of oh, because it's a fashion collab, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. More group chanting or singing.
Ooh. The moves are so clean.
Oh! Oh, that was cool. I like that.
Oh. Okay, so first of all, it makes so much sense that I love this choreography because it wasn't just Dazed and P1 Harmony. It was also with 1 Million Dance Studio, and I was like, yes, I love it. And the dance version has the the choreography practice version has the choreographers in it too. And I was like, this is awesome. I didn't say a lot during the video because I was just like, it's dance. And then I just watched and then was like, oh wait, we're reacting. So sorry about that. But I did say something kind of towards the end where I was like, their moves are so clean, so crisp. And I really do mean that. Like, they move through different positions very easily and very cleanly. There's no like extra movement when they're going from one position to the next. And it's all very crisp, but not necessarily sharp, because they are able to do the same thing in between fluid movements as well. Like, staying as clean as it is doesn't necessarily mean all of their movements are automatically like super sharp and pointed, which is really awesome. And it really seems to come down to the fact that they seem to have really good energy control in their dancing, because when you watch it, you can tell that they're putting in just enough energy to do the movement that's necessary, no more, no less, which is something that actually takes a lot of time to learn how to do. So it's like really impressive, especially for rookies, and especially because they're so young. You can tell there's no struggle to rein in any extra energy, which is usually something that comes with years of experience, because you are like, when you're young, you're hype and you're like really full of energy. Instead, they're not really struggling with that. And it showed really well in a lot of their movements, but one in particular stuck out to me, and it was towards the end when they were in second position, moving their knees in and out. And then it was like slow, slow, and then quick, quick, quick. And there was no like change in size of the movement. Like, they all stayed the same size. It was really just the amount of energy being put into it to change the speed shifted. And usually what you would see is when they get quicker, they also get smaller, because that's kind of like the struggle you have to deal with. So I was just really impressed the whole time. The part where you were like, oh, more group chanting, singing, whatever, like that vibe. It was interesting because their dance too at that point, it had been like kind of intricate and a lot of like weaving and like dancing around each other in different parts moving together. And then for that part, it switched to one line and they were all doing the same movement at the same time, moving forward, sort of like group unity moment. And then my last comment is just that you can tell that this was meant for some sort of collaboration, like the way the choreography is made, because it could be arranged to fit a live performance. Like, I saw that there were a couple where they had done live performances of it, but with the way that it's made originally, you need the breaks and camera work to switch between the sections of choreography, because there's a lot of times where the choreography of like the pre-chorus ends and there's 5 of them, and then they have to move the camera, it switches, and someone's in the, like, someone that wasn't there is in the middle, or they're in a clump and then it switches and now they're in a line. So you need those breaks. And so I thought that was really interesting. Like, it was very much made, even in the choreography practice, they had those camera breaks. So I thought that was interesting, but it was really fun to watch. Anna's turn.
Hello. So to start off my comments, I wanted to mention that anthem, group chant style singing. Yeah, earlier in Siren comments, I was like, referenced an Anthem-esque song, but this one is the anthem song. Just like right from the start, the clapping on every single beat, and there are like moments where it comes and goes, but majority of the song has clapping in it on every beat or every other beat. And then especially in the first verse, like the intense electric guitar with the percussion, I mentioned like I like how they're leaning into a rock style more, but especially in the first verse, the first thing that popped into my head was like, oh, it's We Will Rock You, except like a modernized version and like edgier and trendier because like the rhythms are more syncopated. But anyways, and the song is very high intensity because of that, like right off the bat. And it's like the energy that you're getting from watching them, but also that you hear in the song, the intensity, which makes the silence moments that happen really necessary. Obviously, there's that moment after the pre-chorus, like between the pre-chorus and the chorus where it like pulls back, and I don't remember who does the part, but it's like silence and then it's just them speaking over it. Another moment is like transition from the chorus into the second verse where it's a cappella vocal moment. I love it. I love it. It made me really happy because also it's just a very like rhythmic sort of run riff-esque line, but harmonized. I mean, obviously they like went through every single note and was like, okay, at this exact timing we're gonna switch here, so you know that. But it's not necessarily simple, but sort of simpler way to make a completely like killing point killer moment. But my last sort of main thing that I wanted to talk about was another moment of silence where I was like, oh, I like that for the bridge into the final chorus, because you think it's gonna be high note because he sings for a little bit and then it cuts out with the beep sound and then he comes back in. I really liked it because it's like different from what you would expect, because you would have expected just like the high note to continue and then like intensity to end the song. But no, so already it's like something different, which is cool. But I think it was very necessary, like how the moments of silence have been necessary in the song, because if it had just continued with that intensity and like energy, sound, instrumental level for the rest of the song, it would have gotten tiring, you would have gotten bored of it, and your ears just would have felt overwhelmed. Because if they tried to increase the intensity level from there, it would have just been way too loud by the end of the song. That's all I really wanted to say. But TLDR for this reaction is we reacted to P1 Harmony for the first time today. Didn't really know what to expect going in, but I think it's safe to say that we both really like them. Peyton, is it time to adopt more K-pop children? Stop. I see it on your face. You are already showing the mom smile. They have one of your favorite dance things in there. Also, the music, it's not like angsty, but it is still really like dramatic. You're gonna like them. So hopefully they have a comeback soon. They should have one soon.
Well, that being said, if you enjoyed this reaction video, if you love P1 Harmony, or if like us, this was your first exposure to them and now you really like them and want to get to know more, then please leave a like, comment, subscribe, ding, turn on your notification bell.
Wee.
And bye.
Bye.